The emerging markets are now home to more than half of the world's population, a disproportionate share of its young people, a rapidly growing share of its GDP, and a large proportion of its economic growth. By any measurement, emerging market countries are a growing force today and will have even greater geopolitical significance tomorrow. And yet, for these countries to continue on track, that growth must be sustainable. The Emerging Markets Symposium, hosted annually by Green Templeton College, Oxford, has made it its mission to help ensure sustainable growth through the careful examination of issues of human welfare and development in the emerging market countries. Since 2009, the EMS has addressed issues of health, nutrition, education, gender, longevity, urbanisation, inequality and poverty.
There are all sorts of organisations, all sorts of forums in the world now, and have been for some time, that focus on financial issues, on capital flows and related matters. Nobody was looking at the really fundamental question of human development. And it became very obvious to us as we looked at this that if those issues were not addressed, then economic growth would not be sustainable. So there are both economic reasons and there are also ultimately ethical reasons why this deserves priority attention. What we try to do once they're together is to create an environment which is as secure as possible. After the first symposium, somebody who's very well known said, you know, I wouldn't have said what I said, or said it in the way I said it, if there'd been anybody from the press or the media anywhere near. It's because you created an environment that makes me feel safe and trusted and trusting that I can actually do that. And that's fundamentally why we have the Chatham House rule.
One of the key drivers of this symposium is the sponsor, CNC Alpha. They gave us money to get the program going, and we could then attract all the right people to contribute to this effort. Secondly, I think we brought in quality people. If you look at the people who come, 40 to 45 people for every seminar once a year, you will get area experts, you will get academics, you will get researchers, and people who can then share with each other. And what we have done now is expanded our ability to communicate the end results to the constituents and to the world at large.
I believe the Oxford atmosphere, the environment of the Oxford community is very important for this symposium. Actually, we even had the discussion in between sessions that maybe somehow this kind of symposium should be placed in emerging market countries. But I believe it's very important to keep it here, because the whole atmosphere of creating knowledge is DNA of this place.
For the organisers, each symposium is just the start of a process, the ultimate aim of which is to influence decision-making on every level, putting people at the heart of policy-making in every government department.
EMS is making a big difference in emerging market countries. Some of it has to do with what goes on at the meetings, the discussions, the emergence of key priorities, focusing on certain models. But I think in that the majority of the participants are themselves from emerging market countries. The exchange of ideas that occurs at these meetings changes the way that they look at things, and they learn from each other.
Since the first Emerging Markets Symposium, the economic and political balance of the world has shifted. In these uncertain times, understanding and contributing to the sustainable development of emerging markets is more important than ever.
The world has moved rapidly now in many ways, and I think the symposia are even more important now than when they started.
The issues we're facing are real issues that affect millions of people on a daily basis, so we just don't want to have discussion for discussion's sake.
I'm a great believer in bringing people together who come from very different environments, very different backgrounds, and providing them with an opportunity to share their experiences and to explore ways in which they think the world can be a better place. That sounds really idealistic, but that's what I believe with a passion. It's why I worked in the United Nations. So from my point of view, that's one of the most valuable aspects of EMS.
You can see that maybe, just maybe, that there is a chance to translate knowledge and research into reform, ideas into action,